coming Sunday is Father's Day, so we thought we'd do something special, and of course, that means something on the fire. Welcome to Lockdown Recipes for Disaster. I'm Pete Goffe-Wood. So today we're going to do my favorite thing on the fire, a pork belly. Now, unfortunately, I can't cook this for my dad because he's in the UK, 6,000 kilometers away. But Dad, this one is for you. And we're going to do a stunning roasted pork belly on the fire. We're going to have a pickled cabbage salad for an accompaniment. And because it's Father's Day, we're going to chuck in a dessert. So we're going to do a traditional tart tartan, but we're also going to do that on the braai. Let's launch straight into our ingredients for today's recipe. We have this beautiful, colorful, crunchy red cabbage, apple cider vinegar. You can use white wine vinegar or even red wine vinegar for that matter. Caraway seeds, mustard powder, sugar, salt and pepper, and this beauty, a little bit of pork belly, the rind on. Right, let's get stuck into some cooking. All right, the first thing we're going to do is score this. You want a sharp knife along this. You want a razor sharp knife to this. Don't want to cut all the way into the pork. I just want to score the skin. And one of the reasons we do this is that it helps the skin to cook, helps the fat to run off and render down, and it makes the skin crisp up a lot. It's actually easier to portion in amongst these grooves. So, seasoning. Lots of salt and pepper. Let's get that. Let's get some salt. Let's make sure we rub it in so it gets into those grooves as well. And lots of black pepper. Now this is going to go onto the fire. In the center, as you can see, we use an indirect method. I've got coals on, bank of coals on one side and the other. And the reason for this is so that when we close the lid, the heat will envelop the pork belly and not cook it directly, creating a lovely oven effect that will help to crisp it up. Now we don't want this to cook too quickly, otherwise it'll lose all its moisture and it'll be very, very tough. We want it to slowly break down and slowly crisp up. So I'm cooking with the lid on, and I've got the vents open at the top as well as the bottom on. Vitally important when cooking with indirect coals, so you get some heat moving, some air and some heat moving through the weaver. We're on about 150 now. That's going to probably go up and hover around the 180 to 200 mark. And it's going to an hour and a half to 2 hours. Time for the pickled cabbage salad. This is deceptively simple. It is a variation of a Lannis Sneyman recipe and one of my all-time favorites. It literally is so easy you will not believe. I'm literally going to boil up my vinegar, sugar. Now this is equal parts of vinegar and sugar, 150, 150. Then I've got some caraway seeds, and now I've got 4 teaspoons of mustard powder. And I'm just going to whisk that in. And the whole idea is we're just going to heat this up long enough for the sugar to dissolve. That hot liquid is going to go over the cabbage salad. Let's get a nice hefty pinch of salt in there as well. And of course, the ever-present black pepper. It's a lovely balance between sweet and sour with this. It's up to the boil. It's ready. Now this is just going to get poured over the cabbage salad. So we're not cooking the cabbage. Cabbage is staying raw, and this is one of the reasons it has and retains a crunch the whole time. This thing is, and the beauty of this salad is it just keeps getting better. Now we're just going to mix this through and just let it sit and do its thing. And this will be ready to eat in about 15-20 minutes, and it just keeps getting better. This will last for weeks in the fridge, and every day you take it out and have a crunch. It'll be a little tastier, a little bit more interesting. The lovely flavors will be there. I'm just going to cover this cling film. Our belly is probably 2/3 of the way done. So now it's time for our tartan. Trying to get them to come out at the same time. Let me go through the ingredients first. Sugar, butter, apples, puff pastry, creme fraiche just for garnish. So I'm going to get my sugar in the pan and my butter. Now I'm just trying to make, with this, I'm just going to make a nice caramel. Be careful when making this because this gets really, really hot. We're talking caramel and melted sugar. We're talking 200 to 280 degrees. It burns like hell, so be very careful. And Okay, it's really starting to smoke now. So I'm going to turn this off. Remembering this is a thick cast iron pan and the sugar is very viscous, so it's going to carry on cooking. So let's now be very, very careful when you place these apple pieces inside. I've just got cultured apple, and we want to have it nice and tightly packed. Don't worry about overcrowding the pan. The more apple, the better. So as neat as you can, a spiral without burning yourself. Ready-made frozen puff pastry. I'm just going to put this on top. And don't worry about it being round. We're just going to poke this in. And the more rustic, the better. If it's got little funny, gnarly edges, if it looks untidy now, you'll see what a sexy difference it makes when we turn it over. Now this is going to go straight on the fire with our pork belly. We also want this at about 200 degrees. This is looking, listen to that sound. This is just about done. Maybe another 10 minutes or so. I'm just going to move this to make space for the tartane. I'll probably take this off halfway through the tartane is cooking, just so it can rest and be ready at the same time. On goes the tartane. Look at that. Let the Weaver do its magic. This bad boy is done. Here's a little trick, a little cheat. If you want it crisp up a little bit more, turn it over, directly over the coals. But you have to stand and watch this. You can't let this be unattended because it'll burn quite quickly. Look how that has blistered and come up like a perfect crackling. Let's get this off the fire. I'm just going to wrap this up in some foil, let it rest. Look at that. That is perfect. I'm going to now just be careful of this. This can be quite messy. So I'm just going to put a plate on top of this and then flip it over. This should just turn out. Our belly's ready. Cabbage is ready. Let's just a quick kernel of creme fraiche that we're just going to put onto our tartane. Cut into this bad boy. Look at that. Lovely layer of crackling, fat rendered down, lovely and moist. That is pork belly at its best. And there we have it, another easy, simple recipe. It takes a bit of time, but good food always takes time. Succulent pork belly with a lovely crisp on it, that gorgeous red cabbage slaw, and of course, who can fault a simple tartane? Inexpensive ingredients, you've just got to know what to do with them. Don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click us on Instagram and Facebook. Give us a like, drop us a message. Until next time, may the sauce be with you.